All right, hello everybody and welcome back to my living room for another airplane video. This is going to be probably the second airplane video that gets uploaded. Although, if you guys remember from the P-51 video, though I know not a lot of you guys saw that video. I don't know if YouTube just decided to algorithm or whatever. But in that video, I had unboxed a 1/72nd scale P-51 and I had my Corsair was already open. Since then, I've accumulated I had two more to unbox. I've gotten 1, 2, 3, or just the two more. Either way, I've gotten a bunch more. And I've been opening them, and I've recorded videos for some of the unboxings, but not all of them. Some of them I just couldn't help myself, and I just had to open them up really, right away and play with them. But either way, for today's video, we are going to record this one. We've got a P-40, a very interesting P-40. So this actually has, if you can see there, Chinese Air Force markings on it. If you know who the Flying Tigers are, although this plane I don't believe is actually one of the Flying Tigers, but this one is. You can tell by the Flying Tiger on it. The Flying Tigers were a fighter squadron made up of American volunteer pilots who basically, before the United States was involved in World War II, we were sending American pilots over to China to fight against the Japanese. And they were flying P-40s, and that's where all the stories of the Flying Tigers come from. But for today, we just have this guy. This is Boss's Hoss. Yeah, Boss's Hoss. I don't think this is specifically one of the Flying Tigers. I think this might just be another volunteer fighter group. But either way, oh, I wanted to point out, I did... God, stop hitting the camera stand already. I did manage to figure out what some of this stuff says, because the entire box, the packaging, everything is in Japanese. But this up here, I got on Google and figured out this says World War II or Second World War Masterpiece Machine Collection. I don't know why collection is in English, but it is. And then down here, obviously, a U.S. Army Air Service fighter, Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. That is what it's actually called, a Warhawk, not a Flying Tiger. You'll hear people call it a P-40 Flying Tiger. And then, of course, the 1/72 scale die casting model, the act of casting the die. The rest of this stuff really is all in Japanese. I'm not really sure what this says. I think this actually says the same thing as this up here. I think this just says U.S. Army Air Service Fighter P-40, or P-40 Warhawk. And then over here it tells you, it says, I think that says statistics and battle records. I think that's what the one on, I don't know. I'm going off Google here, so don't quote me. But let's get it opened up. So these are pretty interesting to unbox. So I actually like to open them up on camera as opposed to just pausing the recording and then opening everything up. These are quite interesting packaging. And do I have... Get all the saran wrap out of here. It's like a TV dinner. Right. So, and if I do end up uploading any of my other unboxing videos, I'm pretty sure I always talk about it in every video, but this is what the packaging is like just naturally. So what I've been doing is taking a little bit of packing tape, and I guess it would make more sense to put the tape on the inside of the box, but I've done it on the outside of the box on all the other ones, so for the sake of uniformism. But it keeps it, when I put the box back together and put everything away, it keeps it, that's way too much, from being all flimsy and floppy. It kind of makes it more like a box. So I am going to pause you guys for this because this is kind of boring. Okay, so now that's more of a box. Ooh! Okay, see you later. Anyway, we also have this piece that's just more cardboard. Our plane, very interesting. But first, I want to take a look at the little magazine they give you with the plane. Unfortunately, again, everything is in Japanese. So here, this is a flying tiger. You can again see by the flying tiger. There's a tiger with wings on the side of the plane. There's also a naked woman up there. Nice. Anyway. So here's our model for today. That's what it looks like on the stand, but we'll get a better look at it in a minute. Yeah, everything is in Japanese, so all we get to do is look at the pretty pictures. It weighed, well, something weighed 2,905 kilograms. Something else weighed 4,020 kilograms. 1,200 horsepower. I know what that means. Yeah, buddy. I can read that. 1,200 horsepower. Cool. Oh, look, it's... Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's so interesting. These are all the different submodels. So you got the P-40, P-40B, P-40C, P-40D, E, F, G, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, XP-40Q, P-40R. Those are all the different variants of the P-40, and we get to read absolutely nothing about any of them, because it's all in Japanese. That's cool. If you guys remember, I did have a couple P-40s. They're the little Johnny Lightning, I don't know what scale they would be. They're probably smaller than 1/100th. But I've got a couple P-40s from Johnny Lightning. I've got another P-40 on a shelf over there, but I don't feel like moving the camera around because it took me 10 minutes to get this camera set up. That's another thing you'll notice. Again, if I do upload the rest of those unboxing videos, the camera positioning has been experimental out here in the living room lately. Here is Boss's Hoss. This is today's plane. There's the boss in there, or there he is there. Really cool looking airplane. I absolutely love the P-40. I think the P-40 and the P-51, if I can't pick favorites, I'll at least say the P-40 and the P-51 are just definitely some of the best looking. Some different paint variations. And the year that they were... Can you see that top one? That top one's really cool. Look at that. That's from 1943, 44, 42. Another one, 1942. Bob Robin. There's some other planes. Interesting. And then on the back here... Oh, cool. Okay, so a lot of these magazines, they do have like a little picture of different pilots of that aircraft. So up here we've got, who's that? Oh, there. If I don't point to it, if I point to it down here, maybe it won't focus. There we go. Claire Lee Chenot. Chenot? That sounds French. Gregory Pappy Boyington. Good name. Charles Herman Older. So these guys, I imagine, were volunteer pilots. And then down here, we have I hope these are Chinese pilots and not... well, George S. Welch. I don't think he's Chinese. He looks pretty not Chinese. Or David Lee Hill. But this guy, Wang... Oh, God. Wang Quang Fu? I hope I'm saying that right. I imagine he might have been like a Chinese pilot or something, maybe. Or maybe he was a Japanese fighter pilot. Who knows? Who knows? If you know who he is, you know, leave a comment. Wang Quang Fu? Okay, I hope I said his name right. I don't want to disrespect one of the, probably an ace fighter pilot. And then, of course, on the back here, we do have our instructions. So we're 10 minutes into the video, and we still don't have a plane in our hands. What's going on here? Let's get this thing opened up, and I am going to slice away on camera here, because these take just a few seconds to get into. And one more, back around. Home stretch, there we go. Now, this part is always a little nerve-wracking. We're going to keep that stuff up there, because I do like to keep that box as well as the plastic, because I put everything back. The cool thing about these planes, I know I went over it a little bit in the P-51 video, but I'll say it again. is that you see all the different... I have 4 landing gear in there. Why would you have 4? Well, because 2 of them are for wheels down, these 2 are for wheels up configuration. So you can actually pick what you want to have on your... There we go. It can be a little tricky getting that piece off without sending all these little pieces flying all over the room. So, ooh, this is my favorite part. Slide that baby out of there. Wow. Bring this in where you guys can see it. Wow, wow, oh, easy. Wow, wow, wow. What a good looking airplane. There's my new cat. What a good looking plane. So we have, can we read that on the, up by the cockpit? Oh, it's focusing on my fingers again. Now it's focusing on nothing. Lieutenant Colonel W.N. Reed. I imagine it says the same thing. Yes, over on this side. Can we focus on the damn plane? Please? Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel W.N. Reed. And that is his seat in there. If you remember, you can just about make it out there. There's a joystick. And doesn't look like we have gauges on the dashboard. Or on the... What did you call it, a dashboard? I don't know. But I remember the P-51, you could kind of make out the gauges. So first things first, so we're not just leaving this thing lying on its belly here. Let's get our stand out of the packaging. Hey, you can't even see it. My cat's climbing up. Psst. Hey, get down from there. My cat's climbing on stuff. Oh, this is always annoying. So, I always point this out. The stands are pretty nice. They are plastic, but they're very nice, and they're well balanced. They're specific to each aircraft. They're not just like a generic stand that they print out and then write the name of the plane on. The arc of this piece is specific to each aircraft so that they sit very, very nicely and very, very balanced. I'm going to move this off camera real quick to kind of wiggle that onto the stand there. I'll show you what I mean. So when the plane is sitting on the stand, it is very, very sturdy. You can wiggle it around and move it and whatnot, and they don't tip over or fall. So there's our little tiny bag of pieces. We'll get to that in a second here. But more importantly, let's get our prop pushed on. I'm doing this left-handed this time. So very easy, you just kind of press fit until it clicks, and then give it a spin. Not the best spinner in the world. Some of my other ones really spin like magic. That one's kind of got some drag to it, but it's okay. It just has to sit on a shelf. It doesn't have to fly. Next up, what we're gonna do, and I'm actually probably gonna dump that bag out on the floor. That was slick. Why did I do that? Okay, thank God. We found everything. So I just opened the little tiny bag of tiny little pieces that you can see right there, and they went all over the place, which is my greatest fear. So we're going to start off getting our little antennae here. We've got this tiny little friggin' antenna. We're going to try and push this into the plane. And I'm probably going to need to take a shot or two to steady my hand, because this is not the easiest thing to do in the world. And I don't want to push it the wrong way and have it break off or something. Wait, does it go the other way? I think it goes the other way. No, does it? No, it does not go that way. It goes this way. It just doesn't fit very good. So I have to twist it a little bit. Alright, I'm going to take you off camera for a second here. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, that was just a little bit tricky to do on the table there. It's kind of a tight fit, so I don't know if that's all the way in, but I mean, it looks, you know, good enough. Some of these pieces, I've had better luck with other planes. Some of these pieces kind of have a tendency to not really want to fit the best. That one fit really nicely. So there's our tail wheel. So So we're going to do a landing gear down configuration first. Shouldn't be too hard to figure out, seeing as how the wheels down one can only go one way. So we're going to peek at the instructions as always. The wheels face that piece. Okay, rim faces outside, and that one goes towards the back. So this is our right side wheel. There we go. That fits nicely. I don't know, that antenna I guess just got a couple too many coats of paint in its little plug hole there. I am struggling to get this wheel out here. Come on, buddy. Work with me. Thank you. Come on. Alright. And we'll get that popped in there. Now, annoyingly enough, it seems once again the stand is in the way of our drop tank. They did the same thing to me on the P-47, and I was very disappointed to see that I couldn't use the drop tank with the stand. So it seems that's happened once again here. But there is wheels down with the drop tank installed, and then they are a little sketchy to put on their wheels. You can kind of see it's very, very thin plastic that makes the landing gear made out of, and it's a die-cast metal airplane sitting on two little thin pieces of plastic. So they're a little flimsy to just park on their wheels like that. And I mean, it would be cool to display it with everything in the bottom, but unfortunately, if you can, I keep holding it off camera so I can see it, but yeah, our stand unfortunately plugs in right where the drop tank sits, so there isn't really, yeah, there's no way you'd have the ability to have that on the stand with the drop tank. But there we go, on the stand with the wheels down. Now I'm going to, real quick, actually I'm going to pause it. Okay, so yeah, this tail piece kind of took me a second there to get in, and it's not exactly a perfect fit. I may, oh gosh, I may have to do something about that. But here we have the wheels up configuration. My cat's going crazy over there. And I put something together in my head here. So I realized that you don't really have, it's not the drop tank and the stand. It's the drop tank is included to cover up the stand hole if you're going to display it with the wheels down or like sitting on its wheels. The drop tank is there, and you can use that to cover the hole for the stand. So I understand now why it's one or the other. That makes sense. But as we can see here, here's our in-flight landing gear up configuration. That tail wheel piece is really gonna bug me. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna fix that? I'm gonna try and fix that real quick. Okay, so I nipped, oh my god, you can't even see it. I nipped that little piece off the end of the little plug there. There it is. Now, let's see who fits nice and flush. Huh? How about it? Oh, that's... There we go. That's... Oh, God, it's just as bad. Didn't help at all. Alright, well, I guess I just won't look at it from the side or something. Yeah, okay. That's a shame. Usually these have pretty good fitment for their different little pieces. So that is our P-40. Now, you guys, you're not off the hook yet. So if you stayed this long in the video, you're going to get a little treat. We're going to take a look at all 7 of my other aircraft. So stay right there. All right, so we're going to scoot the P-40. We'll keep the P-40 out here for... Oh, it's going to tip over there. There's a rib in the table there. We'll keep the P-40 out for scale reference, because it does get kind of interesting, the difference in size in these planes, because they are all true 1/72nd scale. So cat hair on it. First up, you guys will remember the Corsair from the P-51 video. This was the first one that I opened, and the propeller spins really good on this one. Ooh! Didn't mean to smack the whole plane there. Jeez. But anyway, yeah. This is the F4U4, F4U4 1A or something. Oh yeah, right there. F4U1A Corsair. Duh, it says it on the stand. Like we have here, this is a P-40N Warhawk, not just a P-40. Here, we'll bring this in a little closer and get a better view of that. There is the Corsair. And these are all the same DeAgostini brand, 1/72nd scale. I've been scouring eBay for all the different models that they offer. I've been sticking to like American aircraft. Not that I don't have interest in other stuff, it's just American airplanes were always what I had as toys growing up as a kid. So next up, we've got the F6F Hellcat. It's another Navy plane. Basically the bigger version of an F4F. Bigger, badder, faster, more guns. Interestingly enough, when the F6F first entered service and saw combat for the first time, the Japanese mistook the F6F for the F4F and believed that they could outclimb it because the Zeros could outclimb the F4F Wildcat. Zeros could not outclimb an F6F Hellcat, and the Japanese found that out the hard way. Nice big 3 on the tail there. That's nice. Good number. Very, very good looking aircraft. Very big aircraft. Like I said, we'll bring the P-40 over here for scale reference. Can you guys see that very well? I'll move them closer. The F6F has quite the wingspan on the P-40, as well as the sheer size of the body. It's just a much larger aircraft. So I'll scoot this P-40 over here real quick, and I'll actually grab the F6, or excuse me, the F4F Hellcat or Wildcat. God, there you go. There's a good size comparison. You can tell just by the propeller alone, so we'll point them in the same direction here. The propeller on the F6F is bigger than the tail of the F4F. So, I mean, you can see how they would mistake that for that. If you're, in air-to-air combat, I guess you're not really going to slow down and start measuring things. But yeah, the Japanese, like I said, they found out the hard way about the Hellcat. That was not a slow airplane. It had much more power. Take a look real quick at the F4F. Really nice looking planes. This guy's been doing some work. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. 5, 10, 13 kills. Guy's almost a triple ace. What's his buddy over here in the Corsair? We got quite a record on there. So that's 4 by 4. Geez Louise. 16 kills. So this guy is a triple ace. Of course, 5 kills. 5 air-to-air combat kills makes you an ace. So, puts into perspective. I think I said the same thing in the last video I uploaded, but it does put into perspective just how difficult it is to get an air-to-air kill. Next up, we've got the P-51. Now, of course, you guys saw this one already in the last unboxing video, but why not show it again? It is an absolutely beautiful aircraft. Big, beautiful doll, of course. This guy, even more. Even more. Look at that kill sheet. Absolutely putting in work. How many is that? What is that? So that's rows 6. 6 by... God, I don't have my glasses on. 6 by 6. So that's 36 plus another one up there. So that's actually 37. 37 air-to-air kills. That's a lot of kills. I mean, really, that's a lot. Jeez. Here, we'll bring the P-40 back over for a quick size comparison again. P-51 and the P-40, about equal in size. Of course, the P-51 was quite a bit better of a performer. But either way, I really do like this P-40. Let's take another look at that P-40. He's got a nice little kill sheet there. Is that 7 kills across the, can we zoom in on that? Yeah, there you go. 7 kills across the, under the cockpit there. I feel like we didn't do a good rotation of this one, the P-40. Make sure you get a good look at everything on this one. Really nice plane. So, keeping with the P theme here, we have a P-39 Airacobra. This one is really cool. Can we focus on it? There we go. Thank you. This one's really cool. Really small. Small airplane. I was really excited to pick this one up. I don't think I ever had any, like growing up, I don't have any memory of any model P-39s or toy P-39s. Not a common plane that you would see. You know, everybody and their mother had a model P-51 or a model Corsair or a model P-38 or even like a P-47 or something like that. But the P-39, definitely kind of an overlooked aircraft. We sent a bunch of these to the Russians, and they loved them. So another really good spinning prop there. These actually, I think the P-39 was a 20mm cannon in the nose there. So it had, oh god, what was it? I believe 2 50 cals, and 2 30s, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was 50s out on the wing, 30s in the nose, and then a 20 millimeter. So 50 caliber, 30 caliber, 20 millimeter. 50 caliber is like 12.5 millimeters roughly, almost 13 millimeters, and then a 30 caliber is about 9 millimeters. So a 20 millimeter cannon was literally a cannon, and that was for taking out bombers and stuff. You know, you take a wing off with one round. Absolutely nasty little airplane. Interesting layout too. It had the engine was mounted behind where the pilot sat, so it had a big, huge drive shaft that ran all the way up to the propeller. And then these the cockpit didn't open like a normal cockpit would. It actually had, if we can zoom in here and take a look at the panel lines, you can see. Come closer. That's actually kind of like a car door. These are each hinges up here. So where's my pointer knife? This would open up like an actual door on the aircraft, as opposed to the cockpit opening up, which I guess made it easier to get in and out of the plane, I could imagine. Well, I don't know, but if you had to bail out, what would be easier? I don't know. I've never had to jump out of an airplane, fortunately, so I haven't had to deal with that dilemma. Next up, we've got a big one, a heavy one, and you can see what I mean with the stands. So each stand being unique to each aircraft in its shape is the P-47. This thing weighs a ton. It's absolutely enormous. It's probably one of the biggest ones in my collection now. And in real life, too, the P-40... I just realized I'm knocking the camera stand over here. The P-47 was an absolutely massive aircraft. And Zombie is the nickname. Where was I going with that? Yeah, massive aircraft. Same Pratt & Whitney R2800 triple wasp engine as the Corsair, but in a much larger airplane. Still capable of, I want to say, over 400 miles an hour, or if not over, then close to it. Of course, we've got our Allied aircraft stripes on here. These were stripes that were painted on all the Allied aircraft after the invasion of Normandy to help ground troops identify American and British aircraft as opposed to German aircraft. Ooh, I keep doing that. I keep going to spin the propeller and I smack the nose of the plane. But it does kind of give you a a good idea of even this heavy plane. You can see it's pulling on the stand a little bit, but these stands are very nicely balanced. So, last one, and this is the biggest one that I have. And I guess because I've never collected true... Oh, there goes the plane separated from the stand. I never collected true scale planes until now. I never realized how big the P-38 was in comparison. I went for a really nice presentation there and missed the stand. But I never realized truly how big the P-38 was in comparison to other planes. So if we put it next to, say, a P-51, for example, really gives you a good idea of just how enormous the P-38 was. And it, you know, it kind of makes sense. It's a twin-engine aircraft that's basically just made of wing and two tail booms. So it makes sense that it is large. I've never seen a P-38 in person. I don't think, at least not in recent memory. If I have, it was probably when I was very little. This one's probably one of the best spinning propellers too. These things just go. Really cool aircraft. I'm super hyped to have this in the collection. I am so excited. I was excited when this one showed up, and I can't walk past it without looking at it. Just such a cool looking plane. And it is absolutely huge. Which makes me nervous because I know, like I said, I'm having so much fun collecting these 72nd scale planes. It has kind of reignited my passion for collecting. I was getting kind of, I don't want to say I was getting out of it, but I was getting a little bit jaded to the diecast cars, to the point where I was kind of like, well, I don't want to go to Walmart and pick through this stuff because I know everything that's going to be there and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go out picking because there's not going to be anything good. But these planes have got me back scrolling through eBay any chance I get, and going to different toy stores, looking around, looking low and high, trying to find interesting stuff. So that makes eight different planes, and I'll get them up on the shelf here in just a second. Alright guys, from left to right we've got the F4F, the F4U, the F6F, and, oh, we're not going to go left to right, we're going to go, we can go numerically. We got the P38, 39, 40, 47, and 51. I'm going to try and keep my shadow out of everything. But there is all 8 of my recently collected 1/72nd scale World War II fighter planes. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. We've been staring at model planes for almost a half an hour now. So make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see more of the planes. Let me know if you want to see, you know, what kind of planes you want to see. I'm not against doing jets and fighter jets and stuff. We don't have to do just World War II planes. That's just what I happen to be accumulating at this time. I'm totally into jets. I want to stick to the 1/72nd scale because they're a nice scale. They're a good size. They're not too small. They're not too big. You know, they're big enough to have nice detail, but they're small enough that I can have like 8 or 9 of them on a shelf together. So that's pretty nice. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. Tell me which plane was your favorite, and I will see you guys in the next video.